Hello, Markup family. I hope everyone is doing pretty good this week. Episode 3 of 7. Like we said a few weeks ago, we were going to go over the different algorithms for the different platforms on which we actually work on. So this week, we've decided to go with Twitter. So if you've seen on our events in Facebook, then you've seen that this week was actually Twitter. So that's very interesting. So let me add the Twitter to our actual presentation. So you see we're using the same exact presentation as our other platforms. It's going to have the exact same model as we do normally. We're going to talk about what is the algorithm, how does it work, and then what we have to do to get to rank up in the algorithm, and then little tips and tricks for the trade. So this is going to be awesome. One thing you have to remember, all different platforms are different. Facebook is a platform. Last week it was TikTok. That's a complete different platform. And this week we're going with Twitter. So Twitter it's out of this world, people. It's completely different, and the algorithm is amazing. It's completely different from the other platforms you'll see. And we're not talking about 2, 3 tweets a day. We're talking about 20, 30, 40, 50 tweets a day. So you'll see. Stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of great information. So let's begin. What is that? What is the algorithm with Twitter? So basically, the Twitter timeline consists of three main sections. The ranked tweets, so the tweets that have actually ranked. In case you missed it, so sometimes there's certain tweets that are important that the algorithm does spot out for you, so that's very important. And then remaining tweets in reverse chronological order. Sorry for the word, I am French, so I'm trying my English. So every time you open your Twitter app or visit your twitter.com on your computer, the algorithm will study your tweets from the accounts you follow, not just your accounts, but the accounts you follow. So that's very important. And then it's going to give them, each of the accounts, different relevance scores based on several factors. So what are those factors indeed? I have two people that are actually on here. There's Jose, and then there's Flaco Hernandez. What do you mean by what are fleets, Jose? Can you specify the question for me, please? I think I said tweets, but I might have said fleets. Anyways, just give me an update on what that question is exactly, and I'll come back to it. So then if we continue, basically the different factors for the relevancy score is the tweet itself. Um, it says you can tweet and fleets. We'll look into that. Maybe you can pop on to this presentation a little later and come and talk to us about the fleets. There's maybe something I've missed, but anyways, we're just going to continue, and then Josie can maybe pop on a little later. I'll send her the link while we're on here. So the tweets itself, the presence of your media card. So what's a media card? It's basically the image or the video that you actually put in your tweet. So when you do a tweet, it's very important that you actually put videos and images. It's not just a question of writing down. I'm going to give you little tricks at the end of what to do so that they actually engage a lot more with people. And those tweets themselves have to be engaging. So you have to have retweets, you have to have clicks on your tweet, and then you have to have favorites and the time spent, something we do not have with the other platforms. So how much time the person is actually on your tweet itself, that's calculated into the algorithm. The tweet's author. So me, if I'm writing a tweet, what are my past interactions with the people that are commenting? So that also is taken into consideration, and the strength of connection that I have with other people. So yes, it's important to connect with people on Twitter. And when I say connect, is have followers. But once you have those followers, what's also important is that you create a connection with them. If you do not have a connection with your followers, you're missing out on the algorithm, gang. So it's very important that you actually open up a relationship with those people, talk to them, engage with them, do some lives with them. So it's very important that you interact with people with whom you're communicating. Me myself, so the tweets that I found engaging in the past, so if I've tweeted on certain tweets, it's a lot of tweets, I'm sorry, but that's how Twitter works. So it's very important that you engage with people, because all of the past tweets that you've engaged with are also considered, and also demonstrate how heavily you use your Twitter account. So that's very important. So basically, the first two sections that are major in Twitter that will help you rank those tweets, and we'll put them in case you miss it, is based on the tweets itself and the tweet's author. So it's based on you. The next PowerPoint, how does it work exactly? I've said a lot of stuff, but haven't explained to you exactly how it works. So the Twitter timeline algorithm. The tweets are ranked. That's what I said. In case you missed it, and remaining tweets in the reverse chronological order. So the ranked tweets themselves. Basically, that section only contains the tweets that Twitter thinks are relevant to you. If they're not relevant, Twitter has spotted it and will completely take it out of your Twitter feed. So it has to be relevant to you. And if you've noticed when you're on Twitter, if you do use Twitter, you'll sometimes, oh, this person posted something that could be relevant to you. And they will give you notifications for that. So that's very important. So the screenshot that you have on the screen basically shows tweets from several hours ago. Okay, this is an example. So it comes from one of the presentations on the web. But basically, the screenshot itself is basically calculates that these tweets might most likely be interested. They were pulled out from tweets on the timeline. So like you can see, there's certain days that are important. So those are the days that will actually pop up on your algorithm. They're days that were actually relevant to you. So not all days. And like I said, every time you open Twitter, it recalculates everything. So it's not a question of, oh, my algorithm is going this way during these days. No. You open Twitter, it recalculates everything, okay? So in case you missed it, this section contains tweets that Twitter thinks is relevant to you, but the selected tweets are ordered according to the relevance score. So yes, they are relevant, but you might end up having tweets that are more or less relevant to you and might date back a little bit, a few days. So it's not going to be necessarily everything that's happened in the last few hours, okay? And then the remaining tweets is basically all the rest in reverse chronological order. So basically, it always goes like that on your feed. The very first one's most relevant, the ones that you have interest in. Then it's followed by the ones that go according to your scores, and then the remaining ones. What to do? This is an interesting part. When I started the presentation, I said it was important to stay active. Twitter was something that would work with 20, 30, 40, 50 tweets. One major recommendation is to do between 30 and 50 tweets a day. Okay, I do realize people cannot tweet that much, and if they do, they're always on Twitter. But one thing you can do to rank up the number of tweets that you have is repeat the tweet itself during the day. Why? Like I said, every time you open up Twitter, the algorithm is relaunched. So every time you actually send that tweet out into the Twitterverse, basically a different lot of people will actually see that tweet. So it's never the same people. So you can tweet the same tweet 3-4 times during the day and never have the same person have the same tweet. So that's a great thing. So if you prepare 3 tweets a day and you post each tweet 3 to 4 times during the day, or you're already between 12 and 16 tweets during that day. So that's pretty interesting thing that you can do, and it gets a lot of engagement also. So we're going to see with the tips and tricks what you can do. The next, oh, sorry, I went backwards. Tweeting at the right time. Like we were saying with Facebook, it's very important that you actually tweet when people are online. If you tweet at 2 in the morning, chances are of getting a good algorithm are very slim, because there's less people on Twitter. Sorry, I was going to say Facebook, but there's less people on Twitter, so it's very important that you actually tweet when people are there. 9 o'clock in the morning, noon, 3 o'clock, 4, basically from 6 to 6, that's when people are online. So you go during those hours. During the evening, yes, you will have people, but chances are the numbers will be going down. Okay? Use hashtags reasonably. Now, you do have to remember tweets are 140 characters long. There is a way to go around it, like putting words and text in your pictures. So that's something that you can do. When you put a picture on your tweet, you actually write text in the picture. So you go around the 140 characters. When you do put the hashtags, it's very important that you put the trending ones so that it goes through the trending hashtags. You can create your own hashtag. I do suggest you do it. But make sure if you do create a hashtag that you're the one using it and it's not a hashtag that's already used. You can look up the hashtag with the search bar. And if it is used by other people, just get a quick look at the hashtag itself and make sure that that hashtag itself has pertinent information to what you're actually doing online. So that is very important. Jose just showed up here, so she'll be able to log on with us. And here she is. We can see her. So just pull up a chair while I continue, and then you can pop on with us. Add media to tweets. Like I said, very important. Photos, videos. Now, with your videos, you are limited to what you are allowed to put as a video. You can't put a 10-minute long video, but you can actually put a video on, okay? So that's very important that you do it, and it does engage a little more when you do have a video on your tweet. What else we can do is basically try Twitter polls. Something that works a lot with Twitter is asking questions to people, get them to interact with you. So that is very interesting, and it actually gets a lot of engagement. So that's very important. Like I will be telling you in a few minutes, we'll look at the different tips and tricks to see exactly what to do to be able to get your tweets shared. So hi, Jose.
Hi.
You have to look here.
Okay, so I just wanted to come and answer the
the fleets.
The tweet and the fleets. So what fleets are the same thing as tweets, except they go on kind of like your story. Just like Instagram and everything, they're not retweetable, but they go on your story, so those are called fleets. And not tweets. So you can do image, you can do picture, you can do video as a fleet, but they go on your story. So when you look at Twitter, they're up top, kind of like the Instagram stories.
See, I always thought there were stories.
Yeah, no,
because they're pretty much all the same.
Yeah, but those are called fleets.
Oh, I didn't know that. Sorry, gang.
That's it.
What's important with the fleets or the stories, however you want to call it, is they do not pop up on your algorithm. So it's the same thing with Facebook and Twitter. I think Twitter do they take them into effect? I don't think so. No. So yeah, tweet directly in your timeline and don't do it. You can do it through the fleets or the stories, but just be careful because if you do it only on that, it's not going to help you with the algorithm. Okay. Coming back to what to do, basically try the Twitter polls. Twitter polls are very important. Basically, you ask a multiple answer question, and the person will actually click on the poll itself, and after a certain number of days, you get your results, and then you can actually tweet about your results. So that's very interesting. It gives you content to be able to publish onto your tweet. Reshare or retweet your content. Gang, this is very important. Now, when you actually write a tweet, this is a trick that I've learned doing research. Basically, at the very beginning of your phrase, if you write RT for retweet, and then put your tweet itself in, like the message you want to put in, people will have a tendency to retweet because you're telling them retweet it. Okay. Now it's very important that you use the Twitter language. If you put RT, it means retweet. So just put those two letters because you only have 140 characters. So you have to be careful with that. So RT takes up 2. With the space, that's 3. So it counts up pretty fast. So be careful with that and just make sure that you engage and ask people to retweet. 7 tips for Twitter. Use media. We talked about it. Very important that you actually use pictures, videos, photos. Make sure that they're relevant to the information that you're putting in so that people can actually engage more with you. Like if you put birds and you're talking about hospitals, there's no link. So it has to be relevant. Okay. Using hashtags. We talked about it. Very important that you use them. It's important for your brand and your campaign that you're doing. So if you're doing a specific campaign, you can use a hashtag, specific hashtag for that campaign. If you want to start a trend, for example, you can actually start a hashtag and ask people to follow you in that hashtag so that you can actually boost your algorithm with that. Conduct polls. We just talked about it. Very important to have multiple questions, multiple choice questions, and have them actually engage with you. So we're talking always the same thing. If you talk about Facebook, we're talking about polls. We're talking about the same thing. When we talk about Twitter, it's same. Not Twitter, TikTok, polls, following trends. So it's very important that you actually follow that basic information for all of your platforms. Time for your tweets. Use a publishing calendar. Some applications like Hootsuite actually permit you to publish posts or tweets on different platforms at the same time. So that's very important. You can use third-party tools like that. But what I suggest is you actually take the time to plan them. Like take an hour on your Sunday to do your full week of planning of your tweets. Or you can actually do it in the morning when you wake up. Take 15 minutes and plan your tweets for that day. That could be another option. But make sure that you do it while people are actually on the applications themselves. Post relevant ideas. Now, we're attraction marketers, me and Jose. If I were to talk to you about the birds and the bees all the time and not talk to you about social media, there would be a problem. Okay. Yes, it's okay to talk about different things. I like electric vehicles. Jose likes to do art. She likes painting. She likes creating things. She likes nature, going to the beach, things like that, having activities. We like having family trips, picnics, activities, having fun. So yes, it's important to put that on your pages. And when I talk about pages, I'm talking about your different platforms. Now, yes, it's important to have that information, but it's also important that you stay relevant to what you're doing. Don't just out of the blue talk about spaceships and aliens when you're talking about attraction marketing. Okay. Now that is going to be important so that people stay with you, they engage with you, and they actually follow you consistently. Then we have double check the links. So before you actually post your tweet online, make sure that the link works because it's very important. And some platforms actually change the link. So they'll adapt it so that it's shorter for your application. So make sure that when the switch is made, that the link itself still works. If not, erase the tweet and then put a new tweet in with the proper link. very important, because if you're bringing people to your website so that they can register online to participate in an information session like we actually do with our business, it's very important that that link has to work. Okay, so double check your things and improve readability. It's important to proofread what you actually tweet before you press on send. Make sure that it's readable. If you write RT, make sure that the people understand what RT means. It means retweet. But if someone's new to Twitter and doesn't know what RT means, it could be hard. So you might have to reach out to people and say, hey, why didn't you retweet my post? You should do it, and I'll retweet yours. Engage with them, communicate. So it's very important that you actually make sure people understand what you're writing, and don't abbreviate too much. A lot of words can be difficult for certain people. Do you guys have any questions whatsoever? Like, I know I've talked a lot about the Twitter algorithm and the things that you have to do to be able to rank up on your algorithm, but do you guys have questions? I see there's a few people watching. I don't know who it is, but if you have questions, feel free to send me a message directly. You can DM me, direct message me, or you can actually send me an email at info@markup.com. You can also register to see the free information session at markup.com. You can see it in the bottom of the screen right here at the bottom under the image. And once you've registered, you'll have access to all of our links. Like I was saying, we have 7 different platforms. That's why this is a special on 7 days, so 7 different Mondays. We've done Facebook, we've done Twitter, we've done TikTok. Then we're going to have to do Instagram, Google My Business, LinkedIn, and then YouTube. So 4 big platforms still to come. And you'll see it's very important that these all communicate together and all work together to be able to rank up. Hi, Tony. You're very welcome. If there's anything, feel free to reach out. We're here to answer all of you guys' questions. So, like I said, on that note, I'm going to wish you a beautiful day, everyone. And if there's anything we can do for you, feel free to hook us up and we'll be able to talk to you and give you all of the information you want. So thank you very much, everyone. Good night and be safe.